Henderson, and I am joining you from the lovely Cape Town in South Africa. I wish I had the time to really check in with you where you're calling in from or where you're dialing in from, but wherever you're dialing in from, just accept our sincere welcome, heartfelt welcome to you. And we trust that you will find this afternoon session informative, and hopefully it will also enhance your decision making as you are making some decisions regarding you, if you are a parent, regarding your young person, if you are a young person, regarding your future. We hope that this session will help you in that regard. I've mentioned that my name is Kevin Henderson, and I'm going to be hosting the session this afternoon. And maybe just before we get going, it might be a good idea for us to share what we're planning to achieve for this afternoon. Right after this, I think you're probably feeling a bit welcome now, but right after this, I'll introduce you to our team. And then after that, I'll spend the biggest part of the afternoon providing you with an overview of what the Young Minds program is about. Then I will hand over to our channel director, Ms. Claire Sissing, who will discuss or just share the program calendar and some other practicalities regarding the program with you, after which she would share some frequently asked questions and just like how we are responding to those. And then last but not least, we would like to give you an opportunity for some burning questions, and hopefully we'd be able to answer that. As we progress during the afternoon, you are more than welcome if you have a question to sort of post it in the chat, and our colleagues will be able to respond to that. If at any point you haven't yet received a response to your question in the chat, hopefully the rest of the team will highlight that for me at the end, and we can then also hopefully provide the answer to that. Let me introduce you to what we like to call our dream team. One of the people that you will be communicating with quite a bit if you are interested in this program and should you enroll for this program is Ms. Samantha Abrams. She is our program manager. And the other person that's also very involved in getting the participants registered for the program is Mrs. Amira Lewis, who is our program administrator. But next to Samantha, I have the lovely Charmaine Mitchell, who is our client relations person. And you will receive Charmaine's contact detail at the end of the session. Charmaine is the go-to person. If you have any queries, if you need any information, you can contact Charmaine, and she will be gladly responding and helping you in making your decision a bit easier. Like I've said, my name is Kevin Henderson. I'm the proposal and design specialist, and I take responsibility with the rest of the team to ensuring that we have this program continue to address the challenges of our young people and how we prepare them help to prepare them for the rest of their lives. And the lady that heads up this team is our channel director, Ms. Claire Sissing. Very welcome to my colleagues as well, and we trust that this afternoon will be fruitful for all of us. Just before I get into the program, maybe I would just like to say, normally when you arrive at a venue, people will ask you, so where's the bathroom? I'm going to encourage you at this point in time to ensure that you know where your bathroom is. We don't want you to hit some traffic in the passage. That might delay you. But either which way, we would like you to sit back, relax, and hopefully we will be able to make your afternoon a fruitful one rather than one where you would feel that I have just wasted my time. You've met the team, but who are we? I think it's important for us to demonstrate where we fit into the ecosystem of Stellenbosch University. So as you know, Stellenbosch University is situated in Stellenbosch, and the university has some different schools, of which most people know our medical school very well. But in addition to that, we have a military school on the west coast of the Western Cape. And then also we have the business school, which is situated in a town or a city called Bellville, not too far from the medical school. The business school, known as Stellenbosch Business School, has the responsibility towards the university for producing or offering postgraduate degrees. So they will be offering our MPhil degrees, master's degrees, PhDs, etc. But at the business school, we have another division which is responsible for all short courses. And that division is known as Stellenbosch Business School Executive Development. And this program of the Young Minds fits under that particular division. So the Young Minds then is a short course. In other words, it's not going to lead to a degree. It's not a degree course, but the program is then quality assured by Stellenbosch Business School and is certified by Stellenbosch University. Hopefully that gives you an indication of where we fit into the ecosystem of Stellenbosch University. If we move forward, the program then runs over a certain number of months during the year. And what the program is, it is a career-focused gap year program. Initially, that was the focus of the program in terms of understanding what young people will do. So sometimes they would like to take a gap. And so what we've now done with this program is it has transformed itself in many different ways. It continues to evolve as we learn more about the world and we discover that the needs of young people are also changing. And so the program runs from the 12th of March, 2024, and the final day will be on the 8th of November in 2024. So what is the Young Minds program? The Young Minds program is basically a structured personal development program. Also, you can call it a gap year for young adults or school leavers who are not sure what they want to do with their lives yet. And as if you're a parent, you may appreciate that you've been grappling with your young person over this year in their grade 12, and still you find that they are not ready or they still don't know what to do. If you are a young person who are busy matriculating or completing your national senior certificate, you're probably sitting with that kind of anxiety as well. What am I going to do with myself over the next or the rest of my life? As a clinical psychologist, I am very often faced with questions from parents as well as from young people about what to do. And I like to always just contain parents by saying, just appreciate that when you are 18 years old, you just don't know enough about yourself to be making such major decisions. Now, some young people are supported well, and they have a clear idea of what they would like to do. And they are very confident as they tell the parents what to do. And then before you know it, they come back and they say, after first year or after the first couple of months, and they would tell their parents, listen, this was not what I thought it was going to be. I fondly remember my daughter doing this. She, in grade 10, told me, Dad, I want to be a journalist. And the more I was trying to push her in another direction, she wanted to be a journalist. And she finally ended up at Rhodes University to go study journalism. And 6 months later, this child comes back and she says to me, Dad, I think I've made a mistake. So when you sit with that kind of anxiety, I'm here to tell you to say, I have some kind of idea of what your anxiety is about, but also what some of these young people are grappling with, because it's so difficult to make a decision for the rest of your life. So what I want to encourage you is listen this afternoon, see what this program can offer and what the focus will be for young people. And hopefully, if you have one of those young people, hopefully this will be the program that will help them to move closer to getting a better idea of how they would like to spend the rest of their lives. We are very proud to say for 2024, that we are running our program face-to-face or in person on our Stellenbosch University campus again. Those of you who may not know, after 2020, the program, we had to just pivot again, and the program had to go back to what we would call remote learning. And since COVID was over, and we were trying to get back to normality as close as we possibly could, we've had different formats of how we were running the program. So at some point it was totally remote, and then we've moved over to blended. And last year, or 2023, we've had a blended program in which we had half of the year, the first semester they were on campus, and the second semester they were running it remotely. We're very pleased to announce that for 2024, the program will be offered on our main campus in Stellenbosch, and there will be still some remote sessions, but not lectures or classes, but little interactions with the individual students that will happen remotely. But the entire program in terms of lecturing will be facilitated in person on campus. Now, that's very important for this particular program, because part of the program is to prepare people for the next phase of their lives. And that part is either you make a decision about where I'm going to go in terms of a career. And if you would like to say, I think I need to go and study further, what this program will offer you gives you a taste of what university life is about. And to that extent, we would like to encourage parents to understand that therefore, when your participant comes onto our program next year, we would like for them to have that kind of university experience, which requires certain responsibilities from our young people. And so therefore, we're hoping that they will achieve a sense of self-actualization, a sense of personal mastery before they leave our program at the end of the day. So I'm very happy to say that that is what we're hoping and that we are planning to do for 2024. The program itself, we are in the 14th year of the program. The program has been presented over the last 14 years. To date, we have approximately 1,250 alumni. We're proud to say that the program is certified by Stellenbosch University, as already mentioned, and also it's very highly recommended by Stellenbosch University's career services. So what makes this program special? It's the fact that it is a structured personal development program. We have a developmental approach and design to it. And what that simply means is, yes, there are some marks that they need to achieve in terms of competence. There are some assignments they need to do. And then also to that extent, there might be some exams that they will also need to do. But the approach is developmental. In other words, it's a process by which participants will continue to develop rather being focused on what it is that they cannot do. So that's a strong focus for us in the program, is we want to get our young people to see what their possibilities are rather than focusing on what their challenges are. We will get them realistic and we will help them to see things from a realistic point of view. But it is critical that you understand we have a strong developmental approach to this program. The program is designed in such a way that it provides some flexibility so that the young people can get some real world exposure. In other words, what that means is we will not have classes every day of the week. For our program is designed in such a way that they will have class for 3 days of a week. And those other days, we are encouraging them to expose themselves to industry, expose themselves to other things that they can do, whether that's practice sport, whether that's having a weekend job or a part-time job. And the idea with that is so that they can understand how do you function within the real world out there. The program enables participants to holistically self-discover. It insists on real-world exploration. So, like I've mentioned, we encourage that with our students. So when they are doing things where they can like part of the program, they're going to visit an NPO, they need to spend some time there. There will be some job shadowing they need to do. We insist on that because that is how they will learn what is required to be a well-adjusted person in our society. The program also aligns the talents and the interests of these participants and see how that could be matched to opportunities and how to spot those opportunities as well. Like I've already mentioned about the free time, and the free time that they have is exactly there so that they can develop some and engage in some meaningful activities as well. This is a very important point. We expect that our participants take ownership and personal accountability for their duration while they're on the program. We know that is a very difficult thing, because for those of us who are parents of young people and you let your young person go to university, sometimes we feel that we want to still rescue them. We will have some more orientation with parents in the new year, but this is one of the things where we really encourage parents. This is the opportunity for you to let go and help your child, and know that we will be there to catch them as they begin to explore the future for themselves. And so therefore, it is required that they take personal ownership and personal accountability. But like I said, we will catch them. So we will not let your children loose or your young people loose and leave them to the wolves. What we will do, we will provide sufficient support, and the support will be in the form of a learning process facilitator, and that is just simply a person that will journey with the children through, or the young people, throughout the year, whilst they will get different faculty who will teach them the different modules. And these learning process facilitators will guide them, will also form that safety net. And so the support is by Samantha Abrams, our program manager, our learning process facilitators. And then we insist that each of the participants must still have 5 sessions of coaching in which they will still be caught and found to be caught up into the safety net that we're hoping to provide for them. That's about the elements of the program that we're very proud to talk about. So what is the aim of the program then? The aim of the program is to assist our young people in their personal development. And so it will be a structured personal development program where they will get to know themselves better. And that get to know themselves better is achieved through, for example, an assessment, a psychometric assessment, where they will look at what their strengths are. They will then go through a process by which they will match their talents or their strengths with the opportunities that exist in the world out there. And hopefully through that, they will then explore the real world of work. And through that, they will create their own direction and meaning and create their own opportunities in life. Important to note that this program does not lead to a formal qualification, but as mentioned previously, each participant will receive a certificate of competence from Stellenbosch University. So, how is this program structured? There are 3 key themes or pillars in the program. The first one is that entrepreneurial thinking. So important to note that this is not making the participants entrepreneurs, but it helps young people to start thinking entrepreneurially so that they can come up with ideas, so that they can see how can you create opportunity rather than waiting on someone else to create that opportunity for you. In addition to that, there will be the second pillar or theme is around business management. And the third one is then around personal mastery. So that's the holistic developmental approach that we have. So it's not only around them as a person in terms of their personal mastery. So it's the personal mastery with the business management and with entrepreneurial thinking. We do follow a dual pathway of teaching, which means simply that our participants will have theoretical input, but at the same time, during any study week, they will get input from each of these 3 pillars or themes, and also have an opportunity where they could practically apply what they have learned as well. So these 3 developmental areas that we're looking at, which is personal mastery, which is the art of creating a life of fulfillment, the entrepreneurship, which is the art of creating opportunities, business acumen, which is the art of creating value and profit. We're hoping that these three pillars or developmental areas will lead to the development of an empowered individual who will have personal vision. Hopefully, they would have developed a strong internal locus of control. They will have some form of self-confidence, have some entrepreneurial thinking, understand how business works, and also would achieve a balanced lifestyle. The program is then underpinned and supported by the learning process facilitator or facilitators, the life coaches on a personal level, and like I've mentioned earlier on, so there will be classroom-driven theory, but there's also the application of in practice, which we hope that these participants will do that through self-organized projects, in addition to the projects or activities that we have structured for them as well. Maybe just to give you an idea of what the different modules are that we're offering in those three golden themes or areas. Under personal mastery, we're looking at thinking and paradigms. They'll be discussing neuroleadership. They'll focus on emotional intelligence, presentation skills, career management, self-leadership, and it will culminate in their life plan. Entrepreneurial mindset or thinking, we're looking at the entrepreneurial process, the issues around innovation, strategic analysis, business simulation, business idea generation, and then also this will culminate in the business plan. Under business acumen, they will be looking at the modern economy. They'll do some marketing. They'll discuss operations. They'll also focus a little bit on human resources and how to lead teams. And also, we give them some input on finance and how to manage finances as such. So the way we achieve that is then to get our young people to increase their sense of self or their self-awareness. And so the self-awareness that we refer to is by means of this Johari window that will come up just now, where our young people will know themselves. They will get to know themselves a little bit better. And the way they do that is what they know about themselves. We hopefully that will increase over this time, over this period. And then at the same time, they will get some feedback from others. And that feedback is not just nilly-willy, but it is really in a structured format. So feedback from the coaching sessions, feedback from the learning process facilitators, as well as feedback from their peers in the syndicate teams, as well as feedback from the facilitators who will have assignments that they will be grading for these young people. And if you look at this slide, what we're hoping is that the public side of the young person will increase so that their blind side is decreased and the hidden potential is also decreased. Because the more they know about themselves, the more the public side is open, the better they are able to make decisions regarding their careers as also their future life plans. The career planning canvas that you see up here, when they go through all of that situation that we've just mentioned in terms of the Johari window, you will see that this is the canvas that they will use in terms of developing some career planning. And maybe just to mention that we actually spend about 2 days just dealing with the career planning process and understanding how to arrive at where you would be in the world once you have achieved your goals. I'm happy to say that those modules that I've mentioned earlier on, they will all culminate in 2 very big projects for these young people. The first one is an individual project. So over the year, they will use the input from these different modules that they will be discussing, and they will go through an iterative process where they will finally present their life plan. In the process of leading up to their final presentation, they will have 5 other smaller presentations because they will continue to build on their plan as they process through all these modules as well. So that on an individual level. On a team level, the participants will be divided into syndicate teams, and they will have to come up with a business plan. And that also through using the input, the knowledge, the theory from the modules that they will discuss. They will develop a business plan, at which point they will, at the end of the year, submit a business plan that will be assessed, and as well as they will have to present their business plan, or in another way of putting it, they will have to sell their business idea to a panel where they will be assessed as a syndicate team. At the successful completion of the life plan, the business plan, they will then be able to be certified. And so the process of getting to that life plan and business plan includes some assessments, amongst other, the Strengths Finder assessment. They will do some exams. They will do some assignments. We expect them to do some job shadowing, and the life coaching is compulsory. So all of these 4 elements that I have up there are the compulsory elements to the successful completion of the program. And as they will get through that, they will successfully present their life plan, successfully present their business plan, and at the end will be certified by Stellenbosch University. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, so the process is one where young people will be supported by the LPF, or learning process facilitators, and their coaches. I've mentioned earlier on that we expect of them to have 5 compulsory coaching sessions. They will have to do 20 notional hours of an NGO or NPO work. Please, may I just indicate here that this is not, they receive a template that they have to complete, and this is not a time where they have to go to an NPO or an NGO where they just make the time up, but they have some academic activity that they need to complete to make this particular intervention or activity a meaningful activity for them as well. To be successful, participants must pass all their assignments. Every activity that we have planned, they need to attend, and the minimum mark is for 50% for them to be able to complete the program. Attendance is compulsory. That is important to note, because the notional hours, in order for us to certify them as competent, is critical. And you can imagine we cannot have a program in which people can come and be successful for not performing. It would not be good for our brand. And so therefore, these kind of requirements are important to take note of. With regards to applications and admissions, we require 55% for the preliminary or mid-year grade 12 results. There's no specific grade 12 subject required, but obviously the participant needs to have passed grade 12 with 55% as well. Please note that the applications are open currently, and our applications close, or will close, on the 21st of February 2024, and that's just that late because we know that the matriculants or the grade 12s will receive their final results probably closer to beginning of February, and just to allow everyone a fair chance to apply, that is why the applications close on the 21st of February. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to hand over to my colleague Claire, who will talk to us around the preliminary schedule and some other important information. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you so much, Kevin, and a warm welcome to each and every single one of you. I'm just quickly going to go through the preliminary schedule for next year. We'll kick off the year basically first with a parent orientation session, which will be on the 6th of March at roughly 4:30, and that will be done remotely via the Zoom platform. Our learners will then be involved in the orientation week, which will be from the 12th to the 15th of March. Then we will move on to our first learning period, which will be from the 18th to the 27th of March. We'll have a short recess from the 29th of March to the 7th of April. And then we'll move on to our second learning period, which will go from the 8th of April to the 5th of June. We then have an exam week, which would be running from the 18th to 21 June. And then a nice recess from the 29th of June to the 21st of July. We'll then kick off our second learning period from the 22nd of July to the 4th of September, and then do a nice short recess again from the 7th to the 15th of September. And then we'll kick off our last learning period, which is from the 16th of September to the 4th of October. And our final period, which is the 11th of October to the 8th of November. And then our graduation would then be in December, and that would be via our Zoom platform. All venues will be at the Stellenbosch University campus, as discussed earlier by Kevin. Just some frequently asked questions. As Kevin has mentioned, there's no specific 12 subjects required to enroll for the Young Minds program. As well as he has also said, there should be a 55% for your mid-year as well as your final grade 12 results to qualify. Again, as Kevin has said, attendance of all activities and classes is compulsory. And the program will be taking place in Stellenbosch on our campus, and those venues would be given early next year. And just also to note that there's no credit exemption towards any Stellenbosch University undergrad degree should you complete the Young Minds program. Fees for 2024 is 58,100. This is excluding VAT. We also have a great partnership with Capitec. Should you look at that opportunity, and it will be shared in the chat soon. So not included in the fees is any form of travel, any private accommodation, your laptop device, or any necessary software, as well as your Wi-Fi and data. Students are responsible for their own Wi-Fi and data connectivity. All right, I'm handing back to Kevin.
Thank you, Claire, for sharing that FAQs. That those are just the kind of questions that we've received for the last couple of years. And then I've also just quickly glanced my eyes over the chat. When we get to the Q&A session just now, I will be able to respond to some of those questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached that time of the afternoon where we're going to give an opportunity for you to ask some questions. Before I open the floor for that, maybe just to remind you, I've promised you at the beginning that I will have Charmaine Mitchell's contact detail on the screen. And as you can see, it's right there for you. Maybe you want to do a screen grab, and you can contact Charmaine after our session this afternoon. And please note that applications are open. So there was a question earlier on that I just quickly looked at around what do people do after the gap year program. It varies. Yet there is quite a big number, or a huge number of our participants. If I may, okay, so I cannot use 2023, but if I can look, it's about 50% of our students that do continue to study, even though not all of them go and study at Stellenbosch University. The reality is that they still need to meet the criteria for whichever degree course they need to apply for. What does help a lot of our students is that after this year, they begin to have a better sense of what they would like to do, and through their coaching sessions, develop a plan of how they're going to get there. And so sometimes that may include, you have to go and do this first, or you're going to rewrite that, etc. And but the idea is not that we want all of them to go to Stellenbosch University, but the idea behind it is for them to become clearer about where are their strengths, what can they do with that, and then develop a plan for them in terms of that. I have to just also say, the focus of the program is not to develop entrepreneurs. However, there's also been quite a significant percentage of our students who at the end of this program do follow that career path and actually develop their own businesses whilst they are still studying part-time. But all of that happens because they are in a structured process where they can explore with guidance what they would like to do. So I hope I'm answering that question for you. Okay, are there any other questions? I'm just trying to shift my... Okay, may I ask my colleagues just if there's a question that I've missed? It's quite difficult for me to see. Okay. So I think that question is...
Cambridge, Kevin?
Okay, so yes, we do accept that. A-levels, when they submit that, there is a process that we look at first. If it's any qualification that's equivalent to an NQF level 4 in South Africa, we will consider. And then obviously, when the application comes, it is directed to me to look at whether that meets our requirements. So yeah, the participant can apply with Cambridge qualification. Here, any other questions? Kieran, I'm not sure if I understand your question. Kieran? Okay. I'll
Oh, sorry, that was me. It was, don't worry, it was a work thing that I copied and pasted. What I was trying to do was just ask my question again about job shadowing. So to what extent, how many weeks do they do job shadowing, or is that the 20 hours?
So
is there other...
Yeah. So the 20 hours is one aspect of the shadowing, but it's not the only aspect. And then they do have about 5 weeks of job shadowing where they have to submit their report, which will be assessed. But like I've mentioned earlier on, that's not limited to that. That's only the period that they have to submit to ensure that everyone does that. But they can do job shadowing and explore other opportunities right throughout the year with our support. However, the important point is we don't arrange the job shadowing, but what we are doing for next year is to help our participants in trying to find that. You can imagine how difficult next year is going to be, that all of our students will be in Stellenbosch, and Stellenbosch is only so big. So it becomes difficult to do that, but we certainly will support them. And here's one of those areas where we say the young person now needs to move towards what we call internal locus of control. So many of our young people tend to struggle to find a place, but they never come and speak up. If they don't come, then that might be a difficulty for them. But the minute they speak to the learning process facilitator, they will be guided, they will be given some ideas to get them to something. Okay, so the support is there, but what we expect of them is for them to come out there. Our support structures are not going to chase after them for that, but they need to come and request for the support. I hope I've answered that.
Yes, thank you.
Kevin, there's also one where it asks, is the Young Minds Still an Adventurous course for those who have already decided on a career but want to take a gap year? I think we got some great examples of that.
Yeah, I think it's very useful to do that, even though you know what you want to do with your life, because the aspects that you're looking at, that's not focused on career management, but the aspects of the personal mastery, because all of those kind of things. In fact, university life, I often tell people, is not so much, but you need to have intellect. Let's not argue about that. But it's not so much how intelligent you are. It's most of the time, it's about your ability to manage yourself with all the sudden newfound freedoms. And so even if a person knows what they would like to do, it is still advantageous to, if you're going to take a gap year, in my view, it's better to take this kind of gap year where you empower yourself than to take a gap year where you just hang around and not really do something towards growing yourself or developing yourself. So yes, I would say short answer, it is still advantageous.
Another question is, how many students generally complete the course annually, excluding COVID as an outline period? So at the moment, maybe just between 90. We've had between 90 and 120 students each year and growing. And I would say at the moment, Kevin, can we get a percentage of a pass rate over 80, 90% at the moment?
Yeah, most of the participants who are not successful are the ones who are incomplete. So in other words, they would fail because they just haven't met the criteria. It's not they're failing because they didn't pass the module, but they would either not submit or present their life plan, or they would not submit their business plan, or they would just not submit an assignment. And if they don't do all of that, they do fail. We do want everyone to be successful. And one of the ways that we do that is to, even at the end of the year, provide an opportunity for them to complete anything that's outstanding before our certification ceremony. So there's a period where we will give the young person, say, you have time to complete this still. You've attended all the classes, but you have this assignment outstanding. But in spite of our best efforts in that, there are still young people who come onto the program and just don't feel like doing that. So yeah. So there was a question.
Yeah, another one here, Kev, would be, is it correct to say that the course will enhance self-discipline outside of the environment where parents are not present? We would love that.
So, so we're really hoping to achieve that. That's part of, like I said, that's part of why this is such an important and a useful program to do. But it does require collaboration between the understanding of parent and us, because very often some parents do want to still rescue. And so from that perspective, it's not helping the young person, because they're not suffering consequences. So part of what we want to do, because the only way they learn that self-discipline is when there is consequence management. And so hopefully that is what we are achieving. But self-discipline is broader than just us saying, submit your thing. That's also around understanding who you are and why you procrastinate and all those kind of things. Yeah. But that's the aim of the program. I can't say that everyone does get there. I've given you just examples of people who are not successful, not because they were not intellectually able, but just they just lack the self-discipline to get there.
See, the last one in the chat is going back to the Cambridge. Would you only accept A levels? What about AS levels?
No, we will accept both.
Both, yes.
Yeah.
Kevin, sorry, there's one question from Aldo, who's asking, who will identify companies where shadowing will take place?
Say that again. Who?
There's a question from Aldo asking who will identify the companies where the job shadowing will take place. So if you can maybe just explain that component.
Okay, so the way it happens, the learning process facilitator will explain to the participants the brief of the job shadowing. The responsibility is on them to find companies with the guidance of the learning process facilitator in terms of where do you start, okay? But like I said, the learning process facilitator would have their own ideas. We hoping that some of our previous or existing clients may be willing to take on, but we can't guarantee that. But at the end of the day, it is up to the participant to do their own homework and then bring that to the learning process facilitator, who will assist, support, and guide them. But the emphasis is that they must do it themselves. I was actually reflecting on that question because I think that's an important question. I know that if you young people, when they're still at high school, they also need to do some job shadowing sometimes. And they arrange their own job shadowing with the help of their parents. The difference this time would be, yes, of course, you as the parent, you can help your person, but that's part of where we would like them to increase their internal locus of control. We will provide them with the necessary letters and all of those kind of things, but it's something they need to arrange for themselves.
Kevin, just second last on the chat, Leslie is asking about GEDs and if that will also be accepted, those marks.
Say again? Sorry, I can't hear you.
Leslie is asking around GED marks, just the second last one on the chat here. If that will also be accepted.
I'm gonna check now.
So third message from the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't understand. I heard DD. I was trying to figure out what is DD. Oh, GED. General. Okay. Yeah. Will be accepted. There's a question from Aldo. Is it around accommodation?
We've sorted that one out, Kev.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. It's very difficult, ladies and gentlemen, to see those those questions for me because it's quite small. So if I look like I'm confused, it's just because I can't see, and the questions are coming in fast and furious. So I'm still reading at the one, and then the next one is right up there. So help me. Okay.
Kevin, I think we've covered everything so far, and some have been already responded to. If we've missed anybody, if anybody can just give a shout out.
I've just responded to Aldo. She's saying, can we create a group for people who are looking for a group of students who are going to apply for this course, if they could communicate with each other on accommodation. So I've responded to that if anybody else wants to.
Okay, thank you. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems like we've covered all of your questions up till now. We know that as you will be leaving this room this afternoon, there will be some more questions that will pop up. Please, that is the reason why we have Charmaine's contact detail on here. Please drop Charmaine an email or call, and she would be too happy to respond to your question. I often brag with Charmaine's response time. I've told people last week, Charmaine will get back to you within 2 hours. But she's really that good, and will get back to you the soonest she can. And so we would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your time and just joining us. And hopefully this is helping you in making a decision. We will be hosting another information session later in the year, and very soon our marketing team will make that information available. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you for your time, and we trust that you, as you make your way, out of this venue, we trust that you won't be held up by the traffic, and you will make your way to where you would like to be in a very safe manner as well. Thank you, and hopefully we will see you next year at our parent orientation, and it will be a pleasure to meet your young person who may join our program. Thanks a lot for your time.